Close your eyes for a moment and just listen to this silence. Can you feel it? There's something within this silence, almost like a whisper, a gentle whisper that your soul has been trying to hear for a long time. Maybe, just maybe. You've been walking through life with this strange sensation, a weight on your chest, a knot in your stomach, an emptiness that no distraction seems to fill. And perhaps you've been asking yourself, why does it hurt so much? Why does life sometimes feel like it's pressing against me, like I'm fighting something invisible? You are not broken. You are not being punished. You are not lost. What you are feeling is the voice of your own biology, of your own energy, calling you back to yourself. Bruce Lipton teaches us that every single cell in your body listens to your thoughts, listens to your emotions, listens to the environment you create inside and outside. When that internal environment becomes dense, heavy, misaligned, your cells respond. They contract. They protect themselves. They close. And when cells close, pain arises. Pain is not your enemy. Pain is not a flaw in your system. Pain is the most sacred message your body, your mind, and your energy can send you. It's the language of vibration telling you something in your field is no longer aligned with who you really are. Something needs to shift. The science of epigenetics makes this crystal clear. Your genes are not your destiny. Your environment is. An environment means far more than the air you breathe or the food you eat. It means the environment of your beliefs, the environment of your emotions, the subtle frequencies of your thoughts, your expectations, your wounds, your silence. When that internal environment becomes a place of sadness, fear, or disconnection, your biology feels it. And it speaks. It speaks through discomfort. It speaks through anxiety, through fatigue, through those aches in your body that seem to have no name, no obvious cause. Neville Goddard whispers a profound truth into this conversation. The outer world is a faithful reflection of what you hold within, including the pain you haven't yet been able to look at, including the sadness that perhaps you've tried to push away, including the anger, the disappointment, the grief that the world has told you to ignore, to be strong, to move on. But what if that pain isn't there to punish you? What if it's not a flaw, but a signal? What if your pain is the sacred invitation to transcend the frequency that no longer serves you? What if, instead of asking, why me? The real question is, what is this trying to show me? The pain doesn't come to destroy you. It doesn't come to crush you. It comes to reveal the parts of you that are out of sync with your own truth, to show you the friction between the life you are living and the life your soul is ready to embody. No, the pain is not your enemy. It's the messenger, the bridge, the code, the vibration calling your consciousness back home. And perhaps, just perhaps, it's time to stop fighting it and start listening. There's a subtle tragedy that most of us carry, often without realizing. It's the instinct to treat pain as an enemy, to run from it, to numb it, to silence it, as if by ignoring it, it might disappear. But the truth is, pain doesn't vanish when ignored. It waits. It waits quietly, like a message sealed in an envelope that you refuse to open. And the more you avoid it, the louder it becomes. Louder in your body, louder in your emotions, louder in the empty spaces of your life where something just doesn't feel right. Running from pain creates a strange paradox. The very act of resisting it feeds it. Every time you push it away, it loops back. Stronger, more persistent, more demanding. Because pain is not a malfunction. It's not a cosmic mistake. It's the purest signal that something inside your energetic field, your emotional landscape, your internal frequency is no longer in resonance with who you are becoming. Bruce Lipton reminds us that the body does not punish. The body communicates, the body whispers, and when we don't listen, it speaks, and when we still ignore, it screams. But even in this scream, there is no cruelty, only communication. Think of an airplane mid-flight. Somewhere, a warning light begins to flash. Something is off. Would any pilot Ever choose to cover the warning light with tape, pretending it doesn't exist? No, because that warning is a lifeline. It's an opportunity to course correct before the damage becomes irreversible. And yet, this is exactly how we often treat our own pain. As if ignoring the flashing light on the dashboard of the soul will somehow make the turbulence stop. What if the ache in your chest isn't random? What if the emptiness you feel isn't a flaw? What if that tension in your body, that restlessness in your spirit, is the most sacred guidance you will ever receive? Because pain is not chaos. It's coherence trying to happen. It's your energy field refusing to let you stay in what no longer belongs to your future. The dissonance between your current vibration and your true frequency feels like discomfort, like sadness, like fatigue, like frustration, but beneath it, there is something breathtakingly beautiful. The realization that the pain is not the problem, it's the signal, and ignoring it is the only real mistake. Nothing, truly nothing in this universe happens without a pattern, without a reason, without a vibration calling it into form. And pain is no exception. It doesn't simply appear from nowhere. It is never random. It is the physical, emotional, and energetic consequence of the invisible dialogue between what you consciously desire and what you unconsciously vibrate. There is a silent collision that happens deep within, between the self that dreams of freedom and the subconscious self, still tied to old fears, old stories, old frequencies. And when that collision becomes too strong, pain emerges, not as punishment, but as a sacred map, pointing to where your inner world is misaligned with your soul's truth. Bruce Lipton teaches something profoundly liberating. Your unconscious beliefs are not just quiet thoughts hiding in the background. They are biological commands. They instruct your cells. They instruct your hormones. They shape the electromagnetic field that surrounds and sustains you. And when those commands are in contradiction with your desires, the system sends feedback. Pain is feedback. Anxiety is feedback. Fatigue, sadness, despair are all biological and energetic alerts designed not to hurt you, but to awaken you. The truth is, the mind loves comfort. It loves repetition. It loves the familiarity of the known, even if the known is suffering. But the soul is evolution itself. The soul cannot and will not tolerate what no longer resonates with its purpose. This is why the longer you try to ignore the inner misalignment, the louder the feedback becomes. Neville Goddard echoes this wisdom with piercing clarity. Reality always reflects the inner state, and when that inner state carries suppressed grief, unresolved anger, or limiting beliefs buried so deep they almost seem invisible, reality mirrors it, not to punish, but to reveal, to show you the gap between the vibration you hold and the vibration of the life you are destined to experience. Pain, then, is the universe's most honest mirror. It doesn't lie. It doesn't sugarcoat. It reflects with brutal precision the dissonance between who you believe you are and who your soul knows you are meant to become. And the moment you understand this, the entire narrative of suffering begins to dissolve, because the pain was never the enemy. It was, and always has been, the sacred pressure guiding you home. There's a moment, subtle, almost imperceptible, when everything shifts. It's the instant when you realize that the pain you've been fighting against was never the problem. It was never the enemy. It was a symptom, a signal, a reflection of something deeper, something coded within the very structure of your beliefs, your emotions, your identity. Because the truth is, pain does not arise from nowhere. It is the friction, the energetic resistance between the version of you that the world taught you to become and the version of you that your soul knows you are destined to embody. This tension, this energetic dissonance, manifests as discomfort, as sadness, as illness, as fatigue, as the aching sensation that something in your life no longer fits, while the conscious mind scrambles for relief, for distractions, for ways to numb or escape. The deeper consciousness within you isn't looking for relief. It's looking for evolution. It's calling for something greater. It's calling for alignment. And every time you ignore that call, the feedback loop intensifies, not to punish, but to insist, lovingly but firmly, that your biology, your energy, your spirit are not in harmony with the outdated programs still running in the background. Bruce Lipton explains this with absolute clarity. When your subconscious programming, when your inherited beliefs are misaligned with your conscious desires, the body becomes the messenger. The discomfort is not the malfunction. The discomfort is the dashboard light, blinking, flashing, insisting that something in the system needs to be reprogrammed. And here's the key. Pain doesn't ask for resistance. Pain asks for understanding. It doesn't demand that you fight it. It invites you to listen, to decode it. Because once you shift your perception, once you stop seeing pain as an adversary and begin to see it as the voice of your own misaligned energy, everything changes instantly. This is not about suppression. It's not about pretending to be okay. It's about witnessing with honesty the sacred friction between the self you've outgrown and the self you are meant to become. The self whose frequency, whose vibration, whose identity can no longer be compressed into the mold of who you used to be. Because every wave of pain is the vibration of transformation. Every ache, every sorrow is the sound, the pulse, the frequency of your soul whispering, there is more. There is always more. There is a moment when something shifts deep inside, a quiet realization, a knowing, the understanding that pain is not random, not meaningless, but a precise and sacred compass, pointing towards alignment, pointing towards coherence, pointing towards truth. And when that realization dawns, the question begins to change. It is no longer, why is this happening to me? But rather, for what purpose has my consciousness created this? This single question transforms everything, because now pain is no longer an enemy. It becomes a guide. When you pause, truly pause, and allow that question to breathe inside of you, something opens. You begin to see, you begin to sense where the dissonance lives, which belief, which story, which relationship, which unspoken fear is no longer in resonance with the life your soul is trying to call forth. And this is where the work begins. But it is not the heavy, exhausting work of struggle. It is the sacred work of presence, of witnessing, of choosing, of allowing your energy, your breath, your awareness to become the tool of your own transformation. The breath becomes an anchor, a bridge between the noise of the mind and the wisdom of the body. As you breathe consciously, slowly, deeply, the nervous system softens, the survival response quiets, the vibration begins to shift, and in that space, in that sacred pause between breaths, a choice emerges, a choice to release, a choice to dissolve, a choice to whisper back to the pain. I hear you, I see you, I thank you, and I choose now to let go of what no longer belongs to me. This is not poetry. This is biology. This is neuroplasticity. This is the physics of vibration. When the breath slows, when the intention aligns, the electromagnetic field reorganizes, the cells respond. The chemistry of the body shifts. What was once tension becomes flow. What was once contraction becomes expansion. And the most beautiful truth of all is that pain itself holds the key to its own transformation. It is the trigger, the portal, the sacred doorway, not to suffering, but to healing, not to stagnation, but to liberation. Because every discomfort, every ache, every sorrow is not asking, how will you escape me? It is asking, are you ready to become who you truly are? There's an image, gentle yet powerful, that captures this journey perfectly. It's the image of the caterpillar inside the cocoon. From the outside, it looks still, quiet, uneventful. But inside, something extraordinary is unfolding. The body of the caterpillar dissolves. It breaks down completely into a formless liquid, a process so radical so total, that it can only be described as a kind of death. And yes, it hurts. Yes, it's chaotic. Yes, it feels like everything is falling apart. But in truth, it's not falling apart, it's falling into place. Because within that sacred dissolution, the blueprint of the butterfly already exists, hidden in what scientists call imaginal cells, a poetic name for the truth that transformation is already encoded within. This is exactly what your pain is. It is the breaking of the old shell, the cracking of the walls that once kept you safe, but now keep you small. The ache you feel is the tension of a self that no longer fits, struggling to hold on, while a greater version of you is ready to emerge. It's not punishment. It's not failure. It's expansion, forced expansion. When the soul has waited too long for the personality to catch up, just like the sprout must crack open the seed, just like the ocean must break against the rocks to carve something new. The pain is the friction between the life that is ending and the life that is waiting to begin. You were never meant to stay inside the cocoon forever. You were never meant to remain compressed into the shape of your past. And when the energy, the identity, the frequency that once defined you becomes too small, the body knows, the soul knows, and the field begins to shake, to crack, to pulse, to push. The pain is the sound of the walls breaking, the sacred sound of the old self dissolving, the sacred sound of the wings forming, and what once felt like suffering begins to reveal itself as a birth, a sacred, inevitable, undeniable birth. And maybe, just maybe, this is the most sacred truth of all. The pain you feel is not the end. It's not the collapse. It's the contraction before expansion, the sacred tension before the release, the undeniable signal that the version of you that was never meant to last is finally dissolving. Bruce Lipton reminds us with unwavering clarity. The environment changes the gene, and that environment is not just the world around you, it's the world within you. Your thoughts, your emotions, your beliefs, your vibration. When that inner environment is distorted, when it holds fear, grief, resentment, or stories that no longer serve, the body responds, the field responds. The pain is the signal that something inside is desperately asking to change. And perhaps this is the most loving message the universe can offer, because nothing changes until something becomes uncomfortable enough to demand your attention. Pain is the sacred push towards a higher frequency, a more truthful vibration, a reality that aligns not with your wounds, but with your soul. Neville Goddard's words echo here, like a quiet whisper in the wind. The world reflects not your desires, but your states. And this is why the pain is never random. It's never meaningless. It's the mirror showing you the gap between the frequency you hold and the life you were always meant to embody. No, the pain did not come to destroy you. It came to remind you that there is a life, a version of yourself, a vibration, a future waiting for you, one that you are finally ready to step into. And when you understand this, truly understand, something begins to soften, something begins to open. Because you were never broken, you were never lost, you were never a mistake. You were and always have been in the sacred process of becoming. So listen, really listen. The pain is not the enemy. It is the guide, the portal, the reminder that the self your soul has been waiting for is already here, already unfolding, already breathing just beneath the surface. And now it's time to listen, time to honor, time to let the pain become the push that carries you exactly where you were always meant to be.